think we're live. Yeah, we're live. Oh, man. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of TJ Warren TV of the American Idiot show. We are joined today by OregonGooner, a.k.a. DVS, a.k.a. Dal, a.k.a. Legend. And then we are also joined across the pond. Well, not all the way across the pond, but our friend from Ireland, the volcano himself, Kyle Walsh Gunner. We are here to talk about all the weekend football, all the week football, and all the weekend football that is coming up. Thank you guys for joining me for my first stream. This is incredible. I've seen you guys on streams before. We've been in chats, whether it be Lee or Jez or whatever chats. We're shooting across the bow at each other all the time. So to be able to have my first episode with you guys is really a treat. So I really, really appreciate you guys hopping on. It's awesome.
Thanks a lot, TJ.
Thanks a lot, TJ. Really appreciate it, man.
Awesome. All right, so the big impetus of this show, and obviously on this channel, I'm going to do watch-alongs, match reactions, things like that. But I want to make this a regular weekly show. Obviously, we're going to be targeted around Arsenal because me and Dal are big Arsenal fans first and foremost. And not only are we Arsenal fans, we're Americans who are Arsenal fans. So the audience that I want to build here is not only to get more Americans into the Euro game, but draw attention to this great club that I have adopted over the last 10 or so years. So as much as they break our fucking hearts sometimes, you know what I mean? So so that's my intent with this show. Just a little bit of background on me. I've really only recently, since the pandemic ended or started, I should say, have gotten into football in general, and I've fallen in love with it. Learned just over the years watching it and taking notes and kind of learning how the game works. So I am by no means an expert, but what I do is use my eyes and kind of apply my previous sports experience. I was a hockey player for however many years to this game. So there aren't many differences, but there are a lot of differences at the same time. So that's kind of my background. Guys, thank you again for joining. Let's just hop into it. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the Champions League. Okay, and this isn't something that we talk about very much on Arsenal channels. Oh, Jez is on. Jez is in the waiting room. I'm adding him. There he is. Jez is here. The legend. The reason I'm here.
Same.
The reason I am here is Jez Collins. The legend has joined. Jez, do you wanna talk a little bit of Euro football with us?
Yeah, we have a chat, man.
Yeah, let's have a chat. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the Champions League first. So we watched PSG go out to Bayern Munich, a very strong Bayern Munich side. I think Bayern Munich are going to win the Champions League this year. That is my way too early prediction. Now that, especially now that PSG is out and PSG looked weak yesterday. I don't know if anybody caught that game, but just looking at the team that Bayern has, they should scare everybody else that's left in that competition. So, DVS, what do you think about Bayern Munich moving forward? And are there any other teams in the Champions League currently still in the Champions League? Because we'll get into another team that currently dropped out in unceremonious fashion here in a second. But who do you think is your way too early prediction to win the Champions League this year?
Way too early prediction would probably be Napoli. They've only, I believe, lost maybe 2 games in the last 30 or so matches. I mean, that's probably way off on the statistic, but it's something crazy like that. I know they just dropped to Lazio, I think, last weekend, 1-0. They are a machine, and they are not to be underestimated in any way. But again, you got teams like Real Madrid who can turn it on anytime. Look at the way they slaughtered Liverpool. But Bayern Munich's a good shout. They're strong in everywhere. They got big, strong players. They don't have a lot of small players. They don't play a lot of ticky-tacky football. Goretzka is just an animal. I mean, the guy's the size of a freaking NFL linebacker practically out there bossing the midfield, and they looked really good against PSG with, we can go into that with Messi being on their squad and so forth. It's really surprising that they haven't done better in the last 3 seasons, to be honest. But Bayern Munich's a good shout. But it'd be great to see a Bayern Munich Napoli final. And again, we can't throw Madrid out there. Who else is left over? Man City, of course.
AC
right?
Milan.
AC Milan, but I think they're probably not going to go through. They're not that convincing at the back. Giroud's 37, still playing as a top striker. He's better than Eddie. We could have Giroud on the bench, Jez? But the fact of the matter is that Bayern Munich is tough, man, and I think that's a really good call. There could be a Bayern Munich Madrid final, but my thing is, don't leave out Napoli or Man City.
Yeah, I hear you, Jez. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Well, let's say one thing. Tottenham aren't going to win it. It is what it is.
Not at all.
And basically, they're not going to win jack shit this year, are they? But I shouldn't say that. But yeah, mate, my money's on Bayern Munich. They're a tough team. Seriously, Real Madrid, yeah, decent, but I don't think they've got what Bayern Munich have got. Man City, I think, are misfiring, which is a difficult call because they are. You can never predict Man City, and we've got them coming up very shortly. And we talked about this earlier on Match Show, but my money's going to be on Bayern Munich, man.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
But the thing
Kyle,
is,
what do you think? Go ahead, Dad.
Sorry, Kyle, one second. The thing is, too, is that Erling Haaland's a different animal in Europe, right? I mean, he's a Champions League goal scorer, so that I would take City over Real Madrid, even though Madrid's got the experience. Go ahead, Kyle. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with the rest of you there. I think Bayern Munich are very, very strong in every position. And they play great football, very hard, winning mentality.
Right.
So experience as well. So it's hard to see past them. Real Madrid, they can rip apart the team there on any given day, but you just can't really rely on them. That's why I kind of fancy Bayern over them. Man City, I don't think Man City has been too good this season. Even though they're only 5 points behind us, I still think they're going to win the Premier League. So that's saying something, but I think they haven't been great. Still going to be champions. Will they win the Champions League? I don't think Man City would, but I'm going to say something. And I think everybody is kind of dismissing it. I think Chelsea Football Club will be hard to beat this Champions League. I think Chelsea are more set up for European football than actually for the Premier League itself. If you look at
do you think they don't care about the Prem anymore? I think they're more focused on the Euro competition now.
I think that's the only chance to have a win in anything anyway. So I actually believe that Chelsea are set up for the Champions League, and I think
it's a good shout.
That if you write them off at your power, I think Chelsea could win us. They could win us.
Yeah, that team is built for the Champions League.
It's built for the Champions League.
Fernandez has Champions League experience, obviously. Yeah, that's a really good shout, Kyle. And you really look at it, Chelsea are probably one of the top 3 squads in the world on paper that look good. Of all the players they have many, many options in every position. So that's a really good shout. I kind of didn't think about that. We don't think about them because they're shit right now in the league. But you're right. They are completely built for European competition.
Is Graham Potter built for European competition?
Huh?
Is Graham Potter built for European competition?
No.
That's what worries me about Chelsea.
That
being said, though, Chelsea can always shithouse something.
Right. And if I'm Potter, I just say, boys, go out and do what you got to do to win. Don't give them tactics. Let them just play. I mean, just let them express themselves and say, how bad do you boys want this? You're all multimillionaires, top European players. We spent 4 or 5 years trying to get, they've spent years trying to build this squad that they have now, and they have more than enough class in the side to progress in any, knockout competition. Kyle's absolutely right. They could sweep this whole thing out from anybody's feet, but I think they would struggle against Man City if it came to a Man City Chelsea final or semifinal.
No, I agree.
Kyle's right.
I mean, but there's 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Man City fucking up in Europe. So, that's just my opinion. I mean, we'll see, but they lately just had, especially in the last, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, pretty much with them, but that being said, I would take their trophies. That's all I'm going to say about that. For sure. All right. Well, I want to talk about our friends down the road, Spurs. So I went on Tottenham away yesterday, just for fun. And they're always really, really nice guys, really welcoming, and they have nothing but, the real ones have nothing but good things to say about Mikel Arteta, because they see every single time what, like, the kind of football, or the kind of intent and the kind of attacking football that Arteta puts on the field every time. Conte doesn't do that. Conte will always play 5 at the back unless he's down, and then he'll push those wingers up. They hate Conte ball, the majority of them, but they don't think Conte's gotten enough time. So I want to ask Arsenal fans, if our friends actually want to go anywhere, and by our friends I mean our mortal enemies, if you think that they want to advance or want to show some sort of intent, what steps do they need to do? Do they need to get rid of Conte? Do they need to get rid of Levy? Do they need to get rid of both? DVS, what do you think?
I think they need to be reworked from the top down, to be honest. Much like Arsenal really needs to. That's just a lost club. I don't really rate any of their players anymore. I thought Son was class, 2 or 3 seasons ago. Their defense is shambolic. Their midfielders aren't good. There's no real pace. There's no real anything. It's just blah football, like we come to expect from them. But it's really, really bad. I don't know how you can lose to Sheffield United and Wolves in the same week. There's League 5
Wrexham.
It's unbelievable.
Pushed Sheffield United farther.
League 5. Yeah, right. And so, there's definitely a disconnect between what Toupee Tony's trying to say and what those guys are trying to do. It's a shit house from the top bottom. I mean, where do you even start? I mean, Davidson Sanchez and Eric Dyer are still there. Lloris is still there. Daniel Levy has been, the problem with that club for many years. And, they've never spent well after they received the 90 million of bail money. They spent that all on crap. I remember talking about that with Jez and Lee in the early days of our YouTube experience. So to me, if you really pinpoint it back, TJ, it goes back to the 95 mil they got for bail. And they've never bought well with that money, and they've never really recovered. They lost Eriksson, which was their best midfielder they've had in, I don't know. What do you say, Jez? Eriksson's probably the best mid Tottenham's had in 10 years, maybe 8 years.
All day. Yeah.
Yeah. Eriksson deserves a statue for the effort he put in at that club. But besides him, they've really fallen off, and I'm not saying that we're, where we need to be by any means, but look at the talent. I mean, Odegaard is miles in front of any of their midfielders by himself, and we still give him shit, right? So, yeah, man, it's just a club that's fallen apart. They have no real identity. I don't think they have much of a reach here in America. I don't know what their reach is in Asia or Africa or even as far as Australia.
I know one American Spurs fan.
I know about 3, and 2 of them don't even claim them anymore. So, Yeah, but a good friend of mine's a Spurs fan, actually, a big Timbers guy I go to games with. But anyway, I give him shit all the time, and he's just like, it's saying what we've always, it's a rebuild. Daniel Levy has just really cut the nuts off of that club in some aspects. It's great for us, and it's great for the league. But it really hinders what they're trying to do, because you look at all around. Harry Kane's, a very, very good footballer, but he doesn't have that mentality, that winning mentality. He's fluffed it up with England. He's messed it up with Spurs. I don't think he can run anymore. And besides Kane, I don't know. I don't rate any of their players.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And I think that Spurs, another point that we got to make here is that how are Spurs making headlines? They aren't making headlines with the fact that they're in the Champions League and that they were heading into the second leg down to AC Milan 1-0 at home, which you knew that they weren't going to win that. AC Milan did what they needed to do. They parked the bus and they drew that game to move on. Spurs did not generate anything. I watched that entire game and I fell asleep, I think, 2 or 3 times. It was boring. It was awful. They didn't create anything. So, but the problem with Spurs, in my opinion, is that they are a corporation. Their ownership is not worried about putting a winning product on the field. And their idea of putting a winning product on the field is buying a head coach, putting mediocre players underneath that coach that maybe won't get along with the coach or don't fit his style, and then they maybe could shithouse 4th or 5th place because of the talent on the field, and that half of their fan base is okay with that. They won't win a trophy. But the Spurs ownership are more worried about gentrifying the area around Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, putting Beyonce at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they should just move to Tottenham. They would probably get more fans out there.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
They're pretty awful. But that being said, it's one of those things where the fan base isn't going to do enough to change anything. So, they had these protests and there were like 5-10 people that joined. Like it was awful. At least when we wanted Arteta out and we wanted Kroenke out, you saw a good amount of people out there protesting and making their voices heard. But Jez, what do you think? You've forgotten more about football than I think all of us on this panel know. So what do you think about the state of Tottenham? And while long may it continue, what do you think they need to do to turn things around?
Well, the thing is, TJ, with Tottenham, they've become more of a franchise than a football club. Daniel Lee basically needs to go. They have lacked the investment that they should have done when they were really above Arsenal. The fact they now host every year concerts to bring money in. They're going to build an F1 track below the stadium. Well,
it's a go-kart track.
It's a go-kart track. It's not an F1 track. Let's fucking get it right. You're not going to have F1 cars racing around under there. It's a go-kart track. Now, this is surely an indictment of where Spurs have got to, and it shows that they are going down the wrong road. They're going down the wrong road of very much Arsenal and the Kroenkes. Lack of ambition, lack of investment at the right time. Harry Kane, I think Harry Kane is done at Tottenham. I think he's fed up. He's won jack shit. He's not far from the end of his career. Yeah, fact. And he's won absolute jack shit. So I think this guy's now fed up. I think he'll be looking for a move in the summer to move to a club that he can sneak something, maybe an FA Cup, maybe a League Cup. Ultimately, a Premier League medal, maybe. But Tottenham, you know, I'll argue this question. Having grown up in North London, Tottenham have always been our rival. But the biggest rivals in competition has always been Man United and Liverpool. Because in the time since I first saw Arsenal Football Club play, they've done jack shit. And in that period of time, I've seen Arsenal win league titles, 8 FA Cups, a League Cup, only two league trophies. I was very lucky in '71 to be at the final game when we won the Intercity Fairs Cup, which then became the UEFA Cup. I'll never forget that night at Highbury. And Tottenham are basically a shit show. I had a debate the other day with somebody. He said he's a Chelsea fan. And he said, do you feel sorry for Tottenham? I said, no, I don't. I wish them every pain in the world. I said, they're just a noisy neighbour down the road. And I said, they've never done anything. I still hate them when they knocked us out of the semi-final. But the one thing you can throw down their throat, I was there when we won the Premiership at their ground. And, you should have seen the horror on their face the night that we did that. It was, and Arsenal have done it twice. They did it the year we won the double in 70-71. Arsenal won at Tottenham to win the double. And do I feel sorry for them? No. Do I wish them all the worst? Yes.
Yes.
And they are absolutely just a horrific club. And I feel sorry for their fan base to a point because they go week in, week out, and they see absolutely shit. They don't win anything. And Harry Kane, sorry, mate, you've wasted your career.
Well said. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Now, Kyle, I've been waiting to come to you because I really want to get your opinion on both the Champions League and the current state of Tottenham Hotspur. And I think we're all happy that Daniel Levy is still in charge there, because as long as Daniel Levy's there, mediocrity will continue. I don't think that Daniel Levy can see 2 or 3 steps in front of him. But what do you think?
I think we sit here and we talk about Spurs in the Champions League and Danny Levy and no ambition and all the rest of us. They were in the Champions League. Where were we? We had Champions League spot last season. Who did we blow it to? We blew it to this crowd of fucking donkeys, Spurs. That's who we blew it to. With 3 games to go. So you have to look at it in that perspective. And if we go and reach the Champions League for next season, are we going to sit here and say, nah, we're this and we're that? Because we're going nowhere in that Champions League. Let's get it right now. We're going nowhere in that Champions League.
We'll get to that here in a second.
But as for Spurs, as a football club, shit. Absolute dirt. Danny Levy should sell the club and just go, because he's had to drag that club down to the gutter. They have the finest. I think that's possibly the finest stadium in English football. And all of those had it out to Beyonce and F1 cars and all this fucking shit. That stadium is big enough for a Champions League club, and Spurs are not a Champions League club. And as far as I'm concerned, Conte may go. Conte, it's like everything else, lads. Wenger's management career finished way before he did. Mourinho is gone as well. Ferguson went. All the great managers have to step down eventually. And I think that Conte is one of those managers now that needs to have a look at himself in the mirror. Because his style of football is absolutely atrocious.
It's hard to watch.
It's very hard to watch. And you talk about Harry Kane. Harry Kane is one of the best English strikers that has lived in the last 50 years. Harry Kane is an extraordinary striker. You can't take it away from him. A prick, but a top striker. And he's based his career at them donkeys. But he won't be there next season because he'll be playing with Man United or someone. Because he's finished now with Tottenham.
Yep.
Son is a great player as well. He want to stay. If I'm Son, I'd want to move out there as well. And then for the rest of them, forget about it.
Yeah.
So, rivalry there, Jez was talking about rivalry. And for me, obviously I'm from a different part of the world. I'm from Ireland. And for me over here, the rivalry was always like what Jez said. In competition, Arsenal versus Man United. So as far as I'm concerned, Spurs can fuck off. They're an absolute dirt club. And they win jack shit. But we're going to end up in jack shit ourselves.
Well, let's get into that. Let's switch gears here a little bit. So, actually, I want to point out a quick comment from Jaminho here. Thanks, Jaminho. I know you're in the chat pretty much by yourself.
Jaminho.
I appreciate Jaminho. Sorry,
Jaminho.
Jaminho. Hey, thank you for subscribing, man. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Where is this comment?
Top moderator.
Yeah, he's a top mod, and I think we're only friends is because I pollute Jez and Lee's chats with my comments. So Jaminho, I can't find the chat, but you asked if I was going to be doing more live streams like this. Absolutely, I'm going to be doing as many live streams as I can. I'm really enjoying it. So much fun. Obviously, I want to continue to support Arsenal history and more. Kyle Walsh, Lee, all the guys that actually pushed me to do this. So, but yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna continue to do this as much as I can. I would like to, me and DVS were talking about this before. We're gonna try to make this a weekly show, rotating guests. But obviously, Kyle and Jez, if they want to pop on, anytime. So that should answer the question there. Okay, so let's move on to the Europa League. We talked about this a little on Matt's channel, so I'm not gonna go into too much of what I said, but long story short, we were lucky to get out of there with a 2-2. I think that we are not gonna win the Europa League. I don't think we're trying. I think the squad depth is too thin for us to go anywhere in that competition, let alone possibly make a run at the Premier League or stay in our current spot in the Premier League. You can say all you want about Mikel Arteta and the magic and however many light bulbs he lights at halftime. The squad speaks for itself. We're too thin. We don't have anybody behind Saka. We don't, and the one guy that we did have, we sent to Norwich on loan. So I want to get everybody's opinion on not only Arsenal in the Europa League, but who do we think has the best chance to win the Europa League? Obviously, we still have United there. They are after getting absolutely walloped at Anfield. They are. I knew they were going to bounce back. People were saying, "Oh, these guys are dead." No. I think that honestly, everybody's going to remember the 7-0. Everybody's going to remember that. But the trophies that Man United have a legitimate chance of winning, they're gonna throw everything they have at that, and they are now humbled and they're pissed. So let's start with Arsenal, DVS, and then move on into who you think realistically is going to win the Europa League.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I don't know if we've necessarily kind of thrown away the Europa League. I think what Arteta is using it more of an experimental project, maybe to get some younger names some game time, which in hindsight really doesn't make a lot of sense because to me that's what the Carling Cup is for. And the lower league games, if we're in an 8 or an 11 point position, which we should have been, but that's right another story. So, yeah, I actually hope for the Europa League. I don't think we'll win it because I think Barcelona and United are probably going to be in the final because I think United are very destined to win it. I think the title's pretty far away from them now, especially after that drubbing. But
Barcelona and United are playing each other right now.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh.
So who do you?
What are the other? Sorry, I don't keep up with the other.
Or did I get that wrong? Hold on. Let me
Man
see.
United beat Barcelona already.
Right.
Yeah, they went through Barcelona already. That's right. So they're playing Real Betis right now, but they're up 4-1 on. They're up 4-1 on aggregate right now.
Right, but if United and Barca finish the group, they're still in the group stage, correct?
No, they're in the round of 16.
See, I'm not even paying attention.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's really secondary to me, and not
absolutely.
A lot of the times is that I see the lineups. I see the lineups that he puts out there, and so a lot of me is like, well, I'm going to watch it because I'm a diehard Arsenal fan, but at the same time, we struggled against Rapid Vienna. We struggled against Sporting Lisbon. We struggled against PSV. We struggle against these teams that I think as a fan base that we should just be beating 3 or 4-0. And we forget that those teams are in this competition for a reason as well. So, Inter Milan, I believe they're in the Europa League, right? I mean, they're up there to win it as well. And in all honesty, I just don't. Yeah, I don't keep much track of it, TJ. So I don't have much input on the Europa League, to be honest. But I do like our chances. I mean, we need to get the job done in Lisbon and progress through. But if we get a United, I think it's going to be tough because they really, really want that trophy. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, Jez. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to put this out there, guys. That if Arteta stops poncing about with the team, we're in with a shout. It's going to be a hard one, but the fact of the matter is, I've got a gut feeling that we can give it a go. But we're going to be up against a couple of. I mean, I'd hate to see an Arsenal Man United final. I'd hate that. Really would. I'd rather. I'll be truthful. Put it out there. I'd rather Arsenal Roma because I think we could do Roma. Roma to me are. You've got to put them in the mix. And sadly, they have a decent manager in Mourinho. And, but he's not the Mourinho he was years back when he's at Chelsea.
Right, Jez.
He's not the same fella.
I mean, and the only reason they're in the Europa League is because they won the Conference League.
Yeah, okay.
But, I mean, they had an Edin Dzeko too, Jez. Remember him from Man City? I mean,
yeah,
he's a good striker. I mean, he's 30-some years old, but I mean, he can give our defense problems.
Yeah, I'll go with that, DVS.
Yeah.
I'll go with it, but I'm not going to write Arsenal off just yet.
Sure. Yeah,
I'm not, because I think Arteta cocked it up the other night, but he had to go with that team. And let's get it right. He had three of our players out with illness, flu, colds, whatever it was. So that obviously knocked our very small squad out because when you look what we had to bench, There's players on there. I've never even heard of them. Never even heard of them.
Matt
Now,
Smith.
I don't profess. I do not
Matt
profess
Smith.
to
Yeah.
be somebody that looks at the academy squad. I know there are YouTubers out there that will tell you everything about every player, and they're talking bullshit because they don't know what they're talking about. But they'll say, "Oh well, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy." Really, you actually know all the academy players? If anybody turns round on YouTube and says that, you're a bloody liar. No, you don't. You don't.
Jay, there's one player that stands out, Jez, in the U23, just to throw this in, is their number 7, Dewsbury Rose or something like that, who looks like the second coming of Saka. I think he was on the bench against Villa, maybe, or Leicester City, one of those games. Anyway, just throw that out there. Jez is absolutely right. If you know the academy players, you're a fucking knackered.
Well, what
No
happened?
one knows.
What happened to the 15-year-old
Right.
turned up against Brentford?
Right.
PR happened, Jez.
That
PR.
was a piss take by Arteta. It was a piss take because we beat them convincingly. He stuck that young kid on, and then out came that tweet, wasn't it? Nice kick about with the boys. And that was purely putting it down the throat of Brentford. And we've never seen that again.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I don't like that sort of gamesmanship. I'm sorry. That is pathetic in my book. But yeah, look, TJ, I'm not writing Arsenal off. I'm not, because it's 0-0. And we go again on Thursday night. And if he gets it right, Arteta, if he gets it right Thursday night, he doesn't twist up the team too badly, I think we'll get a result.
I do too.
I mean I can't disagree with you, Jez. My problem is that Arteta has way too much faith in his depth players, and by depth players I mean Fabio Vieira, I mean Kiwior, who I don't even want to get into. Matt Turner, even though he's my American brethren, he's not good enough. If we play our full strength squad at the Emirates, we'll win comfortably. But without it, it's always in doubt. Go ahead, DVF.
I was going to say, I mean, it sounded a little harsh on Kiwior. I know he was terrible. He ducked a ball, but I just think, we got to get, the kid needs games, but it's Arteta's fault that we're knocked out of the Carling Cup and the FA Cup, right? And those are the types of players. Those are the types of players I want to see in those games.
Yeah, how old is he?
I just think that's a little rough on Kiwior.
Okay, I'll give you that. Let's look up how old this guy is, or this kid is.
I think he's 22.
He's
22.
He's 23. He just turned 23 in February. Play him in the under 23s. He's not ready. I don't think he's ready.
I would admit that. I admit that. Right, but when he's not ready, then that means it's Arteta's fault that he's in there.
I agree.
It's his fault that he ducked on a ball, but mistakes happen. We all know mid-game things happen, right? I just think it's a little harsh to really write him off just yet. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah. No. Totally agree with you, Kyle. What do you think? Europa League, and then we'll move into Fulham, and then I want to get your guys' predictions on the rest of the fixtures that are going on in the Prem this weekend. Go for it, Kyle.
Yeah, straight away, just about the topic there about Kiwior, the centre back. I would let him play with the under 5 Arsenal team. He's pretty brutal. Not good enough. 23 years of age, and you want him to play with the reserve team or under 21, so whatever the case. To me, not good enough. The squad of players that we have as we speak, in my eyes, not good enough.
Right.
So what I'd say is fucking asshole trying to ring me there. I had to hang up on him.
You can call it
I
Instagram.
swear to God, he'll get a phone
Follow me
call
on
after this
Instagram.
stream. I'm going to fucking fleece him. But anyway,
Fucking
as I was saying, they might beat Sporting Lisbon, and I expect us to beat Sporting Lisbon. But forget about winning the Europa League. And I'm sorry to say this, but Manchester United Football Club will win the Europa League.
I agree, unfortunately.
Juventus
Man
are
United
in
will
as
win.
well.
Juve are in.
Yeah, Juve there.
No
You got
fun.
Juve. You got Juve in there. So here are the teams that I think have a chance. Juve, Leverkusen, Roma, and that's it. And Man United. I don't think I think Arsenal will get past this round, but moving on into the when you have to play the Sevillas of the world, you have to play the Juves of the world, which you saw how we played against Juve earlier this year.
Sure.
Whatever that was.
But TJ, on a serious note, we should be good enough at this stage.
We should
To
be.
beat
But
those
we're not.
teams.
Yeah.
And we're not good enough to beat them things. This is seemingly there was some assholes, a project and a process. And this is going on for the last 4 fucking years. And here we are in the Europa League.
Kyle, we won an FA Cup. You should be happy.
I'm really happy with that. And here we are in the Europa League against Sporting Lisbon talking about getting through on Thursday night.
Right.
And I'm looking at teams like Man United, like
4-1.
Juventus. And I'm saying to myself, I can't see us passing them by. We fucking should be able to beat them.
We can beat them if we play our normal strongest team. If he makes changes and starts getting creative, that's when we start to F up. I mean, we've seen it time and time again.
We have a major problem, though, my friend.
We draw
playing our strongest team. My problem is we don't have a fucking striker. Against a top team like that, we have no striker. And it's not like saying Jez Collins coming back and all the rest of it. Jez Collins is not a natural goal scorer. He's a workhorse.
Jesus comes back. I don't want to throw him in a European competition either. Well, I don't. Yeah, I'd like you, Kyle. I don't want to throw Jesus back in a European competition. I want to throw him up against Wolves. I want to throw him up against Southampton.
I don't want to see Jesus anywhere near the Europa League. Period.
And I don't want to play him against City because of the mental aspects with that, right? I want to see Trossard up front. Trossard deserves to play up front. He's his pedigree already, and what he's done with this club already since January. He is the man we have to put up front. No doubt. Maybe Martinelli at times. Switch him around. I don't know. But Jesus is not going to be 100% match fit the day he jumps on the pitch. And we all know that. And it would be damn pissed off if I see him against City, Liverpool, or Chelsea if he is not ready yet.
I agree.
That's going to destroy everything if he goes out there and gets hurt again. Then it's done. Then it's done.
I agree.
Right? These next few games coming up, like we said last month, and we said in February. Well, February, these are the games that make the season. We're now getting through March, but April looks a lot tougher than March. So.
Well, and I don't want to hear any of this, oh, he traveled with the team. Oh, he did the warm downs. Oh, he's coming back. No,
that's normal.
He's not. Like that's adorable, but you do not have surgery on your knee and then play a month later. Like, I don't know where these top gooners or whatever you want to call it get this idea that he's Superman because he puts on his boots, he's ready to go. Like.
Right.
Like you've obviously never played sports before. You've never been injured before. You've never had surgery before. If you're making those kinds of ignorant ass comments, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
Because
go ahead, Kyle.
When Jez Collins got injured that time, everyone was saying, "Oh, he's only up for a couple of weeks." The only person that I heard saying that he's going to be out for months was Jez Collins. He was the first one and the only one that said it. Because Jez said, with his experience of refereeing and stuff like that, that when you get that kind of injury, that means you're not going to come back after a few weeks. You're the only one, Jez, because everyone else was saying he was going to come back after a couple of weeks. You called it right, so you did.
What are they? The physios? Are they in the room? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. And look, and I know I'm new to this YouTube thing, but some of the piss takes that these guys have just to get clicks and just to be like, oh, well, I heard from the janitor who heard from the lady who makes breakfast at the training center that blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, you don't know anything. You're speculating and in hopes of getting clicks. And that's infuriating. And I don't want to get too off topic here. Obviously, that
and Jez was just saying just a couple shows ago that Jesus isn't really a primary striker anyway, right? So there's still an empty hole that needs to be filled. And to think that he's going to come back and be Superman is ridiculous. It's just he's not going to be the same player he was before the World Cup. Plain and simple.
That being said, he wasn't. What made Jesus special wasn't necessarily the fact that he would bang in goals. He wasn't banging in goals all the time. He wasn't. He's not even close. I think he had like 5 goals before he got injured. What he brings to this team is link-up play.
Right.
Okay.
Leader. Yeah.
Whereas opposed to a striker, I use that in a very, very loose term, like in Kedia. You give that guy the ball and you hope that he actually delivers, which he can't. But there is an important dichotomy there. You're right.
TJ, I just like to say at the beginning of the season, the likes of Jez, the likes of me, and the likes of many others, we all say that we would love to have another striker with Jesus. When we bought Jesus, we all said this. And I'm fucking telling all of you now that if Arsenal would have listened to what we said back then and got that striker with Jesus, we'd probably be fucking 15 points clear tonight.
Yeah. Agreed. If we had a couple winners.
That is the difference between winning and losing.
Right. And if we went back to even the old days of the 4-4-2 formation with Henry off the left behind Bergkamp or vice versa, that would solve a lot of our problems too. I think some of the problems is not only in the formation we do, but the way we attack with the formation. Yeah, we look good pushing forward, ultra attacking and getting teams, to push back. But the old 4-4-2 with 2 strikers up front never hurt anyone. Never hurt anyone.
No, exactly. It's a plan B, isn't it?
It's a plan B. There you go.
Nope. And Jez, you were calling it at the beginning of the season. So is there anything you want to add here about Jesus, about his timetable? I want to make sure that you get a word in here before I go into the fixtures for this weekend.
Well, the fact is, Jesus, let's get it right. When he was at Man City, he was never an out-and-out striker. He's the player that causes the link-up, drags defenders out. We've seen this. He drags defenders out of position. He has awesome technical ability in that 18-yard box that scares the crap out of defenders. But what he does, he'll drag players out, make the sly pass to Martinelli, and he's done it with Nketiah, and he's done it with Saka. He's done it with Odegaard, and he's done it with Xhaka. And they've scored goals because he's like a magnet. I remember that wavy pass he did against Chelsea. And it was almost like, do you remember the classic Henry goal against Liverpool when Henry went through 5 defenders and slotted it? They were too scared to touch him. And that is what Jesus brings to the game. He will come in, cut in, go round, drag players which left or right, and he's got the ability to flick that little ball to one of our midfielders or Martinelli or Saka, and they score a goal, and which they have. And he benefits by scoring goals himself, which he has done. 5, I think, in the league, I believe, 5 or 6 in the league. And that's what he brings to the party. And we've missed that. And I did make the statement when he got cropped at the World Cup. We won't be seeing him much before April.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Because when you saw him at London Colney strapped up, braced up, when you see a player like that, you know that is a bad injury. And all right, okay, he travelled with the squad, maybe for support in the club. I don't know. I've got no idea of the philosophy behind the scenes. But I've seen loads of football injuries in my years of refereeing. And as soon as you see a player, I mean, I'm talking amateur level. I've seen broken legs. I've seen dislocated ankles. And when you see that plays out, man, you ain't seen him again.
Right. And even those players that do return, Jez, they're never the same with bad injuries. And I don't know how bad Jesus is, but I think you made a good point. When you see him strapped on a stretcher with all the cables and bolts around his leg, it's like, okay, this is really serious. This isn't just a muscle tear. So I think you hit it exactly on the nail, Jez. It's like when you see these players strapped in these gurneys and they're smiling for Instagram and their leg is practically, covered in metal already, it's pretty depressing to see. And, and I think my 25 years of watching Arsenal, of football, no real players ever really the same after a surgery.
DBS, all you have to do,
and even in knee surgery at that.
All you have to do was look at Van Dijk.
These players are getting the best of the best of the best medical care. They're not going down the local bloody hospital. They are seeing the top surgeons that they need to see if they need surgery. They're getting the best physio care. And let's remember when we had I can't think his bleeding name now. The guy, the Arsenal player that broke his bone. Yeah, he never came back the same.
Oh, ever.
He never.
Yeah.
His foot separated from his ankle bone like this.
Yeah. He
never
never
broke open the socket of his ankle.
Jesus.
Hit by Martin Taylor from Birmingham City. Martin Taylor's the one that hit him. Birmingham City.
All you have to do is look at Van Dijk at Liverpool. Van Dijk never came back the same player.
No.
Yeah, right. Point blank. Even, Santi Cazorla, his Achilles had 3 operations on it. I think he made a few appearances for Villarreal as just sort of a honorary thing, but he couldn't last for even a third of a season.
Ramsey, another one. Ramsey.
Shawcross tackle, yeah. I remember watching that game. That's Ryan Shawcross from Stoke City did Ramsey. And that was that. He had one good season in 14, I think it was.
Yeah.
After the leg break, and he scored, I think, 13, 14 league goals, and he was done after that.
That was it. Then it was over.
It's got to mentally affect you because as a person, you're going out there in a football match, high intensity, physical Premier League. You've had your leg broken. Yeah, you're going to think, I don't want that again. I don't care how good a footballer you are, mentally, it's got to affect you to think, I don't want this again. Because if I get it again, that's my career done.
Yep.
Now, I know these footballers are insured for millions and millions and millions of pounds. But at the end of the day, it's their job.
Right, they want to play. Right.
They want to play. Quite right.
Well, Kyle, what were you gonna say? Sorry, go for it.
No, I was saying the same thing, that some players can't come back from things like that. And I can just tell you on an amateur level as well, I played soccer and I broke my leg and I got surgery. I'm already getting numerous surgeries. And so bad that I wouldn't even go play 5-a-side soccer with my friends anymore, because I'd be afraid that I do damage. Now, obviously, it's different for me, because if I'm out of work, I don't get paid. I'm not insured for millions.
Right.
But you can understand the mentality of the elite sportsmen with serious injuries like that. Like, they want to play that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to hear their names being sung in the stands, and they want to score the goals, and you know yourself, like, you know. So it's not easy. And JSOs might never be the same again. So we may get used to it.
Right.
Yeah,
And
100%.
my right big toe curves like this because I got kicked in an indoor 5-a-side game, and I never played the same again.
Yeah.
I have numbness in my toe. I've been kicked in the face going down for a header. Some guy just threw his foot up, a high kick right there in the mouth, busted my lip open. That's not much of an injury, right? But having your toe bend 35 degrees because you got kicked in the side of the foot, in hindsight, I went to the doctor and he said, yeah, I would have broken your toe and put a screw through the head of it. I said, well, I'm glad I fucking avoided that.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I can live with a numb toe, but Jez is right. And Kyle, it's all a mental thing because your brain doesn't forget the injury or the pain of the injury. So when you put pressure on that injury on that limb, it sends a signal to your brain that it's fragile. It's more fragile than it was before. And that's the psychosis and the subconsciousness of it comes in. And that's when they don't perform because they get in their own head, right?
Yep, 100%. 100%, guys.
For
All right,
sure.
let's move on. We hope Jesus comes back, but I don't think we can I think we can all agree that let's not expect him to be a world beater. Let's not expect him to be a 100%.
Let's not put him up against City or Chelsea or Liverpool his first game back.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. All right.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna set a timer. All right. Just because we've been going for about 57 minutes, and I want to make sure we can get and get comments through at least some of the top, the top end of the table and their fixtures in what we think of them. So let's start with Arsenal Fulham and then just kind of work our way down. Let's start with you, DVS. What do you think with the Arsenal Fulham game at Craven Cottage this weekend?
I think it all depends on the lineup. I think if Trossard is okay, we bring him in. I think he's okay, right? From what I've been hearing, he should be all right. As long as we play the best 11 we can, don't make any fucking mistakes on the set pieces. I think we can do them 2-0.
Okay. Jez.
I've gone 2-0, man. I said on match stream earlier, I'm confident it's going to be a 2-0. It's a quirky place down there. Been there many times. It's a great place to go. But it's a funny little place. I'm confident 2-0.
Kyle, I know where this is going.
Tough game ahead. Not confident. I'm going 2-1 Fulham.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to...
Our house of cards will start to crumble on Sunday.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
Dire times, Mr. Walsh. Dire times.
Yeah, dire times. By the way, I'm going to take record of this, and I'll put it in the chat and see who won by the end of it. We'll take a record here. Okay, I'm going 2-1 Arsenal, and that is being optimistic. And I'll stop there. Okay. Let's get into the other fixtures here real quick. We got Bournemouth visiting Anfield.
No,
DVS.
Other way around. Liverpool visiting Bournemouth.
Oh, okay. Visiting Bournemouth.
Home team's on top.
Got it.
I know. Bournemouth.
I'm an
Liverpool.
American. See, that's the American. That's the American
part
idiot
of the
right
show.
there.
The American idiot show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm an idiot. All right. Bournemouth are going to get skunked 4-0. 4-5-0 by Liverpool. Liverpool are on a roll. They want fourth place. And God bless them to knock Tottenham out of it. So who am I to tell Liverpool they can't beat Bournemouth 5-0?
Jez?
Bournemouth, Liverpool. I'm going to go on this one. 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay. Kyle?
I'm going 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. Okay. I am going 4-0 Liverpool. They're
flying
on
right
fire. They're flying, and Salah's back, unfortunately, for everybody in the league. Okay. We got Brentford visiting Everton. DVS.
Brentford 2-0. 2-0 at the Toffees. Ivan Toney and the other striker both going to score.
Okay. Jez?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Draw. Perfect.
Everton's a tricky place to go and play.
It is.
Last
I'm the
days
very
of
same. I'm the very same as Jez. I'm going 1-1 draw.
Okay. I am going to go 1-0 Everton. I think Sean Dyche will do something at home because he needs to badly. They are in a relegation battle, and I hate to say it, guys, the window is closing on them
very quickly.
Very quickly. Okay, we got Brighton at Leeds.
Oh, I think that's going to be a 2-2. I think Leeds aren't as bad as people think they are, and I think they can stop Brighton's attack, but I still think there's goals in it, so I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay. Jez.
I'm going to 2-1 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds.
Purely and simply, Brighton don't have a great record at Leeds, and Leeds are on a little bit of a score there. I'm going 2-1 Leeds.
Kyle.
Yeah, I think Brighton will have that bit more quality and go on, stick my neck on the line and say 2-1 Brighton.
Kyle, what are you talking about?
They have Caicedo, Jez. Come on now. We know Caicedo. He's worth 90 million pounds.
Caicedo. He's
been in the league for 3
He's the second coming of Christ.
He's a fucking wonder kid, Jez.
He's a £100 million player. The man.
Come on, Jez. He just pushed him fucking coke aside and put him back in a fucking onion bag.
But you know, I love Kyle. Me
too. He's a real one.
We all love Kyle. He's gonna be big. He's gonna be big on this platform. Trust me. Just
Brighton could do these. You what, Jez? It totally could happen. It totally could happen.
2-1 Brighton. Brighton are a good football team.
You
go. A hell of a football team.
They are a good football team. They play well as a team. That's for sure.
Hey, dude. All right, I really want to get your. And I'm going. Oh God, I'm going 1-1. I'm going 1-1 on that one. All right, this is an interesting one. We got Chelsea visiting Leicester, visiting the Midlands.
Oh my God, Leicester City they're really been up and down this season, haven't they? More down than up. Chelsea are a European squad, but I think they're going to be boosted from that Dortmund win. Mm-hmm. And if Potter can get the right lineup, I'm going to think 3-1 Chelsea. I know that's a bit steep, but I think they're on a roll from the Dortmund game. To be honest,
just to shorten this up, I agree with you 100%. I'm going 3-1 Chelsea. Jez,
I'm going 2-0 Chelsea. 2-0 Chelsea. They'll rock up for that one because they're on the bounce, and I've said it all the time. Never write them off.
Yep.
They've been difficult. They've had they're on the bounce back. Graham Potter will get him up for that game, that's for sure. And I'm going 2-0 Chelsea.
And I totally agree with Jez this time. 2-0 Chelsea.
Okay, we're all on the same page there. Oh, I was waiting to get to this.
One at home against Chelsea? Come on, lads. Not one at home for the Foxes. Oh my God!
Not one for the Foxes. The Foxes.
Too much vino for Jez. Cut him off, bartender. Cut him off.
The Foxes are getting hunted.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, this is the best one. All right,
this is the best one.
This is one I really wanted to get to. Forest visiting the Shithole. Shithart Lane, everybody.
Forest 3-0.
Jess.
I'll be serious. I think that's gonna be a 1-1 draw.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Jess?
There's no way they're putting 3 past Tottenham at home, dude. No way.
No. Unfortunately.
1-1.
Yeah. Tottenham, let's be honest, they haven't travelled well this season. So I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs.
They're at home.
They're at home.
Who?
Tottenham.
Tottenham are at home against Forest.
That's what I said.
You
Okay.
said Spurs don't
Yeah, they
travel.
haven't
well.
traveled.
Oh,
Okay, I got it.
okay.
You know what,
Okay.
Yeah, and then we were making fun of him for drinking vino. Okay.
Travel well.
Kyle.
They don't travel at all.
Yeah, I'm on 2-1 Spurs.
Okay. I am going 2-1 Forest.
Real. I hope so.
Yeah.
Fraser Foster is awful.
He's pretty bad. He's like my
awful.
grandpa out there.
I'm going 2-1 to Forest.
I thought I had gray
on that
hair.
one.
Fraser Foster.
All right.
My God.
All right. The rest of these will be pretty quick, I think. We got Manchester City visiting Palace.
I'm gonna go 2-0 there.
Okay. Jess?
I tell you what, going to Palace is a tricky ground, man. Selhurst Park.
Their defense is shit, Jez.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 2-2.
2-2.
Crystal Palace can't even.
Kyle.
2-0 Man City.
I'm gonna. You know what?
Mate, I know what Palace are like. They can turn it on. They can turn it on.
Terrible this year, Jez. Though
I
know
hope you're right, Jez.
Jez is right. I'm going to go into tactical devious for just 1 second because I know we're late for time. They're good midfield, Jez, and they can play the ball. But you get the ball in the back third, they can't defend. They can't defend, mate.
Mate, I'll tell you what. I've been there many times.
I know, and I've been there this many times.
They can turn it on, man.
Patrick Vieira does have them well drilled, that's for sure.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm going 1-1 because Vieira's gonna do us a favor. Vieira, whoa! All right. Next, Southampton visiting Man United.
Oh God.
Oh man.
4-0. Man United. They're gonna absolutely slaughter them, I think. Southampton haven't pulled out any surprises. They beat Liverpool, I think, this season, correct? And Chelsea, didn't they?
Yeah.
If I remember,
They can do it.
I know they beat
It's just
Liverpool.
whether or
I
not they
think they
are
beat Chelsea.
going
I'm not 100% sure, but there's no way.
Mhm.
They're gonna trounce them. It's gonna be 4-0. 4-0 is my prediction.
4-0. Jess.
3-0 Man United all day.
Kyle.
3-1 Southampton.
No. You're just taking the piss now. No.
3-1 Man United.
There you go.
3-1 Man United. I am going 3-0 Man United. As much as it pains me to say. All right. And then last but not least, because I don't care about West Ham and Aston Villa.
That's a tricky one, actually.
You want to talk about that? We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for it.
Villa could show up. They put 2 past us, right? Villa no mugs. What are they going to play? And West Ham or shit. I think Villa 3-1.
Jez.
I'm going to go 1-1.
At the London Stadium, by the way. At the London Stadium.
I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Jez. 1-1 draw there as well.
I will go 2-1 West Ham. 2-1 West Ham.
Okay.
All right, and then last but not least, we got Wolves visiting St. James Park.
2-0 Newcastle. Wolves don't offer anything up front. Colin Wilson, if if he's on his day, he can easily score against Wolves defense. Isaac, I think, scored last week, so he may be up for it. That's kind of a tricky one. That could be a tricky one for Newcastle, actually, because they're not really progressing like they thought they would right after the World Cup. If I'm right, lads, they don't. They're not getting the wins as easily as they were earlier. I think there's some issues in defense. I'm gonna say Newcastle 2-1.
Okay, Jez?
Yeah, I'll agree with that, man. I'm going 2-1. Newcastle, 2-1 to Newcastle. I think Newcastle, just right now, they've slipped down a cog or two, and their defence needs to sharpen up. They're not what it was, so I'm going to go 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, 2-0 Newcastle.
Okay, and I am going to go 1-0 Newcastle. I do not think that they have the attack that will get them into the top 4 or even close to it. So, yeah, stinky 1-0 to Newcastle, in my opinion. All right, guys, that's it. That's all the time we have. We've been going for an hour and 11 minutes. I just want to say again, thank you very, very much. This is my first show on YouTube. Having you three on here has been an absolute honor. Obviously, DVS, Jez, Kyle, you guys, like, I was watching and shit posting in the comments. I was watching all three of you guys before I was doing this. So to have you guys on and to to share this with you is honestly a dream come true. So I really do appreciate it. DVS.
Yes, sir.
Let's start sending us out. Where can we find you?
You can find me at OregonGooner on YouTube. You can find me at infamous_Dow on Instagram. And you can find me at OregonGoonerHD on Twitter. Come by and say hello. On my YouTube channel, I play a little bit of FIFA, mess around. Like Jaminho comes in quite a bit. We talk Arsenal. So I'm definitely talking with people in the chat while I'm just messing around on the game. I come and talk anything you want. I don't stream that often, just something I just do on occasion. So other than that, I smoke weed and I leave it in your guys' IG videos.
Hey, I'm gonna start returning the favor sooner than later.
Fair
All right,
enough.
Jez.
Mate, can I just say, great debut. You've done excellent tonight.
Thank
I
you.
know how it is when you do your first YouTube jobbies. It's not easy. It's tricky, and you've been an awesome host, my friend.
Thank you.
And good luck to you. Thank you for asking me on, and I look forward to doing many more shows with you and DVS. Thank you, mate. Arsenal history and more. That's where you find me on YouTube and on Instagram. It's collins.jez. You know where I am, mate. You're in the group. All you guys are in the group chat. Mate, thank you. It's been an honour to come on your first show. Thank you.
Thank you. Kyle, the man, the myth, the legend.
TJ, first thing is first. Big up to you for doing this, and I wish you all the best in the future. You are top host. Come snatching to you, my friend. Keep at it.
Thank you.
We need guys like you in this community. OregonGooner, great to show. Great to share the screen with you, my man.
My guy.
Jez Collins, legend. I love you, respect you, and you know that, man. And thanks for everything, Jez, by the way. And lads, listen, thanks to the chat, everyone there, support this man, TJ. Big future ahead of him. So you get me on Kyle Walsh YouTube. I'm nearly hitting 180 subscribers now, so I'm happy with that. And let's keep moving forward. And I talk facts, I talk from the heart. I don't want to take any bullshit, and I'm as raw as you can come across now. So it's not for children's ears, so put it that way. So big up to you all, and I really enjoyed tonight's edit.
Absolutely, and of course, you guys going on this maiden voyage with you. Anytime you guys want to join, I'm shooting you the link, whether you like it or not. You guys can choose to join or not, whatever you want. Obviously, this has been a lot of fun, and talking sports, talking footy, talking life is something that I really, really enjoy doing. So,
Well, TJ,
thank you.
Something important to say. We are here. We all talk about football. We all talk about love for Arsenal. Blah blah blah. But you don't know what's going on in people's lives, and sometimes a person might just want something like this. They get their minds away from something else. So it's very important, and it's great that we're in a community and we've made great friends, and it's like we know each other for all our lives, and it's a great thing to have. It's really, really important. So I just like people to know that. Don't take it for granted, you know.
Yes, I feel the same. I think a lot of the shows, over COVID has really helped me out to, become bonds with you guys and talk a lot, not even about football, but life stuff as well. And TJ, I'm glad you started another YouTube for our community. The more the better. I'm not going to do it, so big up to you.
All right.
I don't mind being a guest on anyone's show. I feel like an honor to be even asked to be part of this adventure with you for the next however many years, you want to do this. Again, big up to everyone in the chat. Of course, this panel here, we got real ones, and everyone in the community has been really good. I know there's some people that don't get along with others, but that's life, right? Not everybody's going to see things the same. However, we all support Arsenal, and that's the umbrella that brings us together. So,
100%. And honestly, I can't end it any better than that. So I'm going to go ahead and get us out of here. More intro music, outro music will be coming shortly. I'm going to talk to our boy Connor. He does a great job with you, with everybody in our group chat. So I'm going to talk to him. And but again, come on, you Gunners, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.
Hey, people.
Cheers.
Great show.